I think I forgot to, I think I forgot to do the fucking thing of popping up my Twitch chat. Wait, let me see if I can do the thing real quick. And yeah, I don't know why, but for whatever fucking reason, um, and I'm kind of just having like a bit of a moment to chat with you guys, I guess, you know. But I have no idea why, but for whatever fucking reason, like the expansion for this game, you know, that stuff. I have no idea why, but like it somehow like it removed itself. It literally like removed itself. And I couldn't be able to play it, so I had to like somehow reinstall the add-on or something. Oh. And apparently I had to do it twice because it's like I don't know. Like I should you know like I don't even have to like do it twice because like you know first one it's like oh you know you did a thing and then you know but I don't know. So hopefully it's working now. Cause I kind of did like a little bit of slight testing before I actually went live. Oh, let me see something. Yo, what the fuck? Alright, bots doing their thing. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and get started and everything. So, as always, everyone, hey yo, my fellow Rumble Maniacs. It's Mr. Rumble Roses here, and welcome to yet another installment of Let's Play Live, where I stream random things at random times for various different reasons. And tonight, I decided to play some Ion Fury. Um, I'm not quite 100% as of yet. Hey, Hooded. Um, yeah, I'm not quite 100% right now because of some bullshittery that happened technically yesterday because it's, I think it's like now it's like Saturday and has some shit that happened on Friday that really kind of got to me a little bit. I'm better. I'm a bit better now, but I'm not quite at that level per se yet. Um, so I decided. So I that's why I did not stream around my normal time frame that I did, where I was going to be trying to attempt to um, play some more Ion Fury. And I guess the was like the TLDR about why I guess like the TLDR about like why um, I am how I am right now. Basically, I got banned from a community that I thought was that was that I got banned from a certain I got banned from a community that I've been known to hang out in quite a bit. And play some games with the streamer and a handful of people within the community, and I also got removed from their Discord, which was even more of a thing. And I think, and I believe honestly, I got banned and I got shunned from the Discord. It's probably because of it's probably because of over a video game. Because I didn't play to this person's expectations or whatever during a stream that they had. When I was playing some Survivor with them or whatever. So yeah, I don't know why they removed. I don't know why that I don't know why that happened. Other than just like pure entitlement, in my opinion. Like and unless this individual comes out right and says why they banned me, I'm going to automatically assume that that's outright entitlement just because like how I didn't play to their quote unquote expectations all over a fucking video game. Kind of, and I hate to use like the word stereotype, but because of how this person's known to be in the community and stream this game a lot and everything, what they did kind of like goes into the stereotypical entitlement of what they done. Like, they like to me, it's like they got mad at me over something that happened in a video game, and yet without rhyme or real or reason, or having like a way to talk it out. Like they banned me from the Discord, from their Discord, and they banned me from the Twitch. So fuck it. That's the only thing I say is fuck it. Like and as much as I want to ban them on my channel, like I doubt it's gonna really mean anything. But if that certain individual, which I don't normally name drop, but I'm gonna say, if Afflicted wants to fucking explain himself, then he's more than welcome to. But for right now, I'm going to assume that he did what he did all because of what happened over a fucking video game. Like I thought like I thought he was gonna be like like oh I get he's gonna maybe get annoyed, but not go to the lengths that he fucking did. So Afflicted, if you're somehow watching this, you got some explaining to do. You should. You got some little explaining to do, Buckaroo. You fucking you banned me for no fucking reason. You kicked me out of your Discord, and for what? Like for the love of God, please tell me. So that way I can be able to show over whatever idea that you had for this. But anyway, yeah. So today I'm gonna be trying to do some Ion Fury. I'm gonna be trying to do the Aftershock expansion DLC thing. And for whatever fucking reason, I don't know why this was the thing, but when I booted it up for the first time, like it got rid of the expansion or for some reason. Like I genuinely don't know what happened. Like all I know was like I get into I load up the game and I get the normal Ion Fury. I get the fucking normal Ion Fury background. Where Shelly's like like behind the cover covering behind the wall. Um, And it didn't say like my thing was uninstalled because like it said like the thing was still installed, but like it got like some sort of I got like some sort of random message that popped up, but I went by it, but I went by it so quick and I didn't even see what the hell happened or what the hell happened or what it even said. So yeah, you know there was that. Um, and then I tried it again, and it seems like everything's working so far. So hopefully I don't have any weird issues going forward, but we'll see. Anyway, so to catch everyone up on things for this game, um, I am playing the Aftershock DLC for Ion Fury. First time playing this, and ever, especially like when it first, even when it came out like a while back. Um, I'm doing a thing right now. It's like I'm doing like my first like actual playthrough of the DLC, and then hopefully like sometime after I complete the DLC, I'll be doing a thing possibly with the main game. I have like elements from the DLC. Apparently, I guess like implemented into the game. So there's that. Um, last time we were, last time we pretty much got this little, I guess like I don't know if I want to say like hover bike or whatever, hover speeder thing. We were going around, like we were going around and everything like that, and then we ended up here at the level known as Marina Massacre. So we're going to see how things go and hope for the best. So without further ado. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to save my thing right here. No, I'm gonna get off right now. God, those fucking drones are annoying. But yeah, like I will say like I am a bit more better than what I was, like yesterday and everything. It still kind of affects me a little bit, but I had a little chat with a close friend. We talked, we talked about everything. I should not grab that. But like, we talked about it a little bit and everything, all that. Yeah, I'm gonna hard save my game right there, because it's not gonna, because it won't be like too far from the main part or whatever. What is going on with the fucking targeting? I don't know. We'll try that out for right now. You know, just it's like take out the specific thing. That looks like a baseball field. Owie. Ah! I love it. I always sometimes check underwater because you could find possible supplies that normally ain't going to be a thing that most people would expect to see. So. Kind of just going up and down, just get some breath of air. That way I don't fucking drown. I plumb kind of forgot, but is there a way to like quick save or am I having to do like a hard save route? Yep, third person view.
It's a shame you can only die once.
Yeah, hopefully you're doing well today or tonight. I'm sorry if I wasn't like responding to you as much, because like I said, I'm still kind of a bit pissed of what happened yesterday. So, and I want to say this too. Like I said, I tried my best, to like not be someone who calls out people and everything like that, but there's that whole situation of again, where it's like, I got wrong, I got banned for possibly something very stupid, and more than likely, over a fucking video game, and I think I'm owed an explanation. You know, it's like, you know, I legit feel like I'm owed an explanation as to like, you know, why they went so far. You know, it's like, you know, ban me from their, you know, their Twitch channel, and like, you know, kick me from their Discord and everything. You know, but the thing is, like, I don't think I'm ever gonna get an answer. You know, and as much as as much as I probably would, say it's like, you know what, if Afflicted's gonna ban me from his chat for from his channel and stuff for no reason, I should have done the same. But you know, but it's kind of like, you know, what's the point? Because I doubt
Nice.
I highly doubt that motherfucker's gonna ever come here. You know, let alone to explain himself. But you know, everyone else, as far as you know, within the community goes, like, you know, they're more than welcome. You know, like, I mean, people like, you know, like fucking Mapley, Artsy, Oreo, you know, and everyone else, you know, from that community. You know, I have no beef with them. You know, but being afflicted, apparently, I guess, you know, we have beef. You know, and unfortunately, it's gonna be beef that we never get to settle because, you know, like I said, you know, because like I said, until he somehow comes outright with, you know, until he, like, you know, literally comes out with it and says, you know, like, why he did what he did. You know, like, the first thing that comes to my mind is, like, you know, he literally banned me for being an entitled for being an entitled prick, and by that I'm talking about him. You know, because it's like, oh, because also it's like, oh, you know, you didn't play too well in in a fucking video game, and you pissed me off to the point where, you know, it's like, you know, I didn't want to play with you anymore. Because I'm gonna kind of explain to you guys about like what happened. So we're in a 3 stack, aka a 3-person, you know, a 3-person session. You know, it was like me, it was me, Afflicted, and someone within the community. You know, we were playing some DVD, doing some open, you know, because he was doing open lobbies and everything. Um, and you know, we played a few games, and then like at one point in time, we came up, we had a Ghostface game, and you know, and I didn't know it was Ghostface at first until like I saw that he got exposed. Meaning it was one of the killer abilities. It was like the main killer ability for Ghostface and everything. And you know, you know, like you know, because I had Bond and stuff at the time, I was like, you know, trying to figure out like, you know, where he was at. And I was trying to, like, you know, maybe, you know, like play that distraction, you know, maybe, you know, block Ghostface a bit, but it didn't quite work. So, you know, he gets chased. So Afflicted gets chased a little bit more. He ends up going down in one hit due to exposed. Random person, you know, our fourth random teammate, you know, was trying to, I guess, you know, pull off some plays. Didn't go too well. So Afflicted, you know, he got hooked, and you know, and as a normal gameplay aspect, right? You know, like I come in, I try, you know, to unhook him and everything. I try maybe, like, you know, heal him while he's on another person, by the way. Like, you know, while he's possibly like on another person. And what does Afflicted do? You know, he's ranting and raving. He's pointing at me. He's pointing at the killer. He's like this motherfucker. I'm not saying it like word for word, but I'm kind of like, you know, like summarizing. I'm kind of like, you know, trying to like summarize, you know, you know, to kind of get the point across. But basically, like, he was all like, you know, this motherfucker here, you know, like, it's, you know, he thinks he can be able to, you know, make smart, you know, he thinks he's, you know, slick or whatever, you know, just because he has, will make it, and the killer's like, you know, like right there. There's like, you know, like 20 feet or whatever, you know, like basically being in a short, you know, range vicinity of, you know, where I got hooked at. And then, you know, he cried and he whines and bitches and cries, and to the point where it's like, you know, like he's like, just get me out of this goddamn game. So, like, you know, so he's standing there being, you know, doing bumble fuck all, you know, and everything. Ghostface hooks that random person, and you know, Ghostface hooks the random person, he doesn't even bother attempting to like escape or loop because I know this motherfucker likes to be chased versus doing gens and everything like that, which is fine. But he just standing there like with a thumb up his ass, doing nothing. And and it's like, oh, there's gonna be like Ash's last game because because I play as Ash Williams from Evil Dead, Dead by Daylight. So he does that. So he basically he lets himself get hugged. And I'm like, well, I guess we're throwing the game, because because apparently he's that upset or something. So, um, hold on. So it's like, it's like, so it's like, oh, I guess we're throwing the game because he doesn't like, he didn't like me saving him, despite the fact, despite the fact that I would say like, let's cut to the amount of times that this motherfucker would farm it on the hook when the killer is like was like about as close as what he was when I tried to go for the unhook, maybe even closer. And yet no one bats an eye. But yet I try and be able to do it. Maybe try and be the helpful teammate. Get him off the hook, whatever. So that way he can he can be able to escape. Maybe do some more chases like I know he likes to do. No, he fucking he whines and cries, and bitches and moans, lets himself get down. And at this point I'm like, well, I guess we're throwing. So I just let the ghost face just down me because like I say, he wants to do that. And then he switches off Survivor, goes to Killer, which is like fine. Maybe that'll be like a way for him to blow off some steam without doing anything too regrettable or too heinous or whatever. So me trying to to just be like, what, I guess apparently he's heated. So I left his chat, didn't say a word. I didn't say a word out of respect, for the fucker, and everything like that. Like I say, he's gonna play some killer, so let him play killer. And then like maybe like an hour or two or whatever after, I try to go back to his stream, see what he's doing. Maybe he's calmed down, and I see like on my phone, like I said, like stream is ended. And I was like, oh, he must have ended earlier or something like that, because maybe something, well, maybe something had happened, or maybe like something that kind of got him pissed off even more, even though like I was like long gone. And then turns out when I finally get into his get his channel up on my phone and everything like that, I find out that I'm banned. Why? For no fucking reason other than possibly like he was not happy with my plays for that session of DVD. So and then like on top of that, um, I get on Discord and I see his little Discord community thing. Like I see it's gone it's gone bye bye. So basically in a nutshell, like he's not only banned me from his his Twitch channel, but he also kicked me out of his Discord. For what reason? I don't know. But the only thing I can think of right now is entitlement. Like that motherfucker was literally an entitled fuckhead just because like I didn't play to the to like the highest degree of ability or whatever. It's like, hey, and I mean and like it's like and here I thought maybe it's like he understands. It's like maybe I'm not like he knows that I'm not the best survivor in the world. Like I'm not gonna be like going for like going for for like chases, taking hits all the fucking time. Getting flashlight saves and all that stuff. Like everyone has like their own fucking way of playing things. You know, so like until Afflicted comes out and says why he did what he did, I'm going to assume that that the only reason he banned me and kicked me from his Discord community is because he's an entitled fuckhead. All because we're a fucking video game. Like Afflicted, grow the fuck up, okay? It's like I tolerated your shit so much that I respectfully did not say anything. I tried to be as nice and humble as possibly can. And you go and you keep having these moments against me, and it's like, What the fuck is wrong with you, huh? You know, it's and is it because like, oh, I unhooked you when when the killer was, within like line of sight, not too far. Is that it? Huh? Is that really it? Do we need to cut to the times where, you would farm and unhook from either like me or anyone else in the community, no one bats an eye, or no one really calls you out, maybe other than like randoms that are not part of the community. Is that it? Really? So until then, fuck afflicted. I try to be a nice guy. I'm as much as I want to ban his ass on my channel, I'm not going to, because maybe I'll get that lucky little moment where it's like he actually fucking explains himself. But everyone else from the community, I have no beef with them. Like, I will welcome them with open arms. But afflicted, Mr. Detroit Love, you know, he can kiss my ass and suck my dick for all I care. Because he wants to be an entitled shithead, all because like I, tried to play the game normally, get him off, set him free and all that. So fuck it.
There's no crying in baseball!
Like I say, at this point, it's just, fuck afflicted. This he wants to come out, this, he wants to man up, have like a little chit chat, where me and him actually, can explain, can have like like a little sit down, or, maybe like be in some sort of like fucking voice call or whatever, to find out like, why he did what he did. I've been going to assume right off the bat, he banned me for no fucking reason other than being an entitled shithead. Just because, because of something that happened in a fucking video game. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what happened. I can only assume that he's probably gonna like paint some sort of other narrative or something like that, but no, I'm like I said, I'm gonna just straight up assume that he did what he did all over a fucking video game. Dare I say, and I'm also gonna make an assumption that unless if he or someone like saw my stream that I tried to do, where it's like I ranted, because I will admit, like, I did a stream like like shortly after, like he had his little moment and everything like that, where I was trying to I tried to play a little bit of Night Rain, and I had like a little moment where like beginning of the stream I ranted, but I didn't name drop or anything like that. Like, unless me somehow saw that, or someone saw that, and then told him, then, I don't know. Like I said, the only thing I can think of right now is he banned me from he banned me on Twitch, and he kicked me from his community, all because of him being an entitled fuckhead, just for something that happened in a fucking video game. Nothing more, nothing less. So as that old saying goes, make it make sense. Afflicted, afflicted again. If you're watching, which I doubt you ever will, fucking make it make sense. Explain yourself. Why? Explain yourself. Which I know you're not going to do. I know you're not going to watch this. So so I don't have any shame whatsoever on name dropping. So yeah, but everyone else from the community, like I said, Mapley, Oreo, Heartsy, all the people from the community, they're more than welcome. More than welcome to come, come hang out, come talk, flirt, whatever. Even though like I doubt that I'm ever gonna see him again, but that's my stance right now. That's really my stance right now. But like how I about how I feel, right now. Like I literally I got the short end of the stick all because of something that happened in a fucking video game. And it feels like it feels stereotypical. Like like a DVD, a DVD, person, didn't like how I did something in the game, so they outright banned me for for that particular reason, and nothing else. So it's sad, it's pathetic. It really is sad and pathetic, but if he wants to go do that, if he wants to be an entitled fuckhead, fine. I try playing Mr. Nice Guy, trying to like be respectful and be like, hey, I'm not going to I'm not gonna say anything, because I don't want to I don't want to get into anything like that, but he started this shit, not me. So yeah, that's all I can say. Is just yeah, I mean, I was going. I mean, I was going along, with the whole. Like I was literally like, fucking going along with like, the whole bit and everything like that. But it's like if he wants to pull that, pull that kind of shit, then fine, just fine. He wants to, he wants to. He wants to be an entitled survivor just because of how like I didn't play to his likings or whatever. Fine. Shows what kind of man he is. And I can almost say, it's like I would bring up his wife, but I have nothing against Afflicted's wife. I think she's she's good people. I have no beef with with her, with his wife or anything like that. Just overkill. Yeah, trophy. So yeah, like I said. So like I said, I'm sorry if I sound like a broken record, whatever. But just know that I don't care at this point. But Afflicted, you're a piece of shit. You should. You had no right to ban me. If you want to build, if it's over for a fucking video game, get over yourself. Like I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm not someone who's gonna be like, I'm sorry if I'm not someone who's gonna be like, who's gonna be like you, being able to take chase, take chase, like looping killers properly, taking chase. Making saves and all that shit.
Haven't you ever heard of the healing power of laughter?
So, yeah, but yeah, I'm just fed up with it. I don't know how many of you guys have seen seen Popeye, like the old Popeye cartoons, and, all the random like quotes and stuff that he's saying, but it's like I say like it's one of those moments where it's like I have to say I'm not all I can stand, and I can't stand I've had all I can stand, and I can't stand no more. So, you know, like I said, make it make sense, but you pretty much showed how much of a entitled fuckhead that you are just because like I didn't play, to your liking. You know, like I said, let's put something completely different. Then I'm going to assume, like I said, it's just straight up entitlement. Like it's just straight up survival entitlement because I didn't play, like to the best, of what, he would have loved to have seen, from someone. So, yeah, entitlement, entitled survivor. That's all I can really say. That's all I can say as to what the fuck, Afflicted really is. He truly showed his, he truly showed, I want to say, like, he truly showed his colors, that on that day. No real rhyme or reason other than, just for something to happen over a fucking video game. Mario! Man, it's like something up happening over a fucking video game and everything like that. You know? So, yeah. Gotta love when people show their true colors like that. Especially, with, something that happens in the video game and, and everything like that. And I was talking to my friend Onyx about this, because he was the one that I vented to and everything. And it was like, and I remember like he was asking me like, did you say anything to him about it in the chat? And I'm like, no, because I tried to be like that. I tried to be like a bigger man. And I was like, oh, this is just like one of those little ribs because because the one thing I always remember, him Afflicted saying was like, bullying is like the love language in the community. It's like, oh, Rumble, may do this or that, but we still love him, all that, and then, you know, so, yeah, you know, like I said it, and like I said before, like it's sad and pathetic, you know, but he wants to be an ass, for no reason. Then fine. He wants to be an ass because all because I didn't fucking play well to his expectations, or like I like God forbid that I try to be helpful and save him off the hook while he was there, and yet and it's like, and yet somehow I'm the bad guy when I was just playing when I was playing a fucking video game. And yet again, like I said, go and like I said before, it's like let's go back to the times where he would literally farm it on the hook, especially like like maybe like kill his face or whatever, or maybe if like if like they have their back turned, it's like, oh, I want to farm it on the hook, good luck with your life and everything.
Clean up on aisle your ass.
Yeah, I think it was something I was telling Alex as well. Was like, I think this was something I was telling Alex too as well about like, you know, the whole situation of, um, when it came to whenever he would stream, like, because I was telling him about the whole situation about like, you know, the people that you know, I follow, and like, you know, what streams I actually go to and whatnot, and it's like, and I usually say it's like, and I usually say like whenever if like whenever I'm up and about and everything, right, and I see Afflicted's on, you know, and him, you know, just doing his little thing, whatever. It's like, you know, I always have to hang out there. You know, that's like kind of like, you know, like the little afternoon spot. Whether I'm, you know, like playing marbles on stream with him and everyone else in the community, or, you know, playing DVD. You know, just, you know, hanging out, having a nice little time and everything like that. And then, then he, like, he literally, you know, goes off on me for something that's, you know, honestly really stupid. You know, can't tell me otherwise that it's not. You know, and it's like, he goes that far. You know, like I said, you know, he bans me from his Twitch and kicks me from his Discord server for literally something that happened over a fucking video game. You know, it's like, and like I said, I think I talked to, I was telling Alex about this as well. It's like, I hate using a certain word, which is like, you know, stereotype or whatever, but like, afflicted literally just, you know, like, afflicted literally just put himself in that stereotypical position of a DVD, of a, you know, like a quote unquote typical DVD streamer, where it's like, oh, you know, like, oh, I'm an entitled shithead. You know, I don't like how this person did this, that, and the other, so I'm gonna just, you know, remove them. You know, without, you know, just, you know, all over a fucking video game. You know, that's literally, you know, he literally put himself in that, you know, he can disagree all he wants, because, you know, because I don't, because honestly at this point, again, I don't give a shit. But like, he literally put himself in that stereotypical, you know, group of DVD streamers. You know, that, you know, those fucking, you know, those, you know, DVD streamers, you know, who are titled and, you know, go off on people, whether it be like, you know, someone like in the community, or, you know, like someone, you know, they play a game, you know, play with or against or whatever, you know, like Afflicted has literally put himself in the, you know, in that category. You know what, ow, I keep forgetting I have to do that. But yeah, like, you know, he literally put himself in that position. You know, like, you know, I never wanted, you know, to see the day, you know, of him doing that, but it's like, you know, yeah, he literally put himself in that entitled, he literally put himself in that entitled DVD survivor, you know, streamer, you know, mindset thing. You know, and you know, it's a sorry, sad sight to see. You know, and I hope, you know, I hope he's happy with himself. You know, like, you know, like I hope the motherfucker's happy with himself. You know, because he literally banned, you know, he literally got all that over something that happened in a fucking video game. You know, like just like Alpha Galaxy. You know, like, you know, Alpha Galaxy. You know, like, it's been a long while since I had to talk about that some bitch. You know, but like, you know, um, you know, I had like, you know, you know, the whole situation where it's like, you know, you know, like me and him had a little chit chat at one point, and I thought everything was cool, and all of a sudden, and then like all of a sudden it's like, nope, you know, he bans me from, you know, he bans me from his Twitch. He rejected my fucking appeal, even though like I did not do anything wrong. Like, no, I'd say like when it comes to Alpha Galaxy, it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, you know, like, again, this is probably gonna be one of those little moments where, you know, when I play some and talk all another. But so the thing with Alpha Galaxy was, you know, like, I had taken some, you know, you know, I took his stream, and I kind of like broke it down into parts where like I showed like, you know, full matches of like you know, certain matches that I was in with him and everything. And then we were talking about like, you know, oh, you know, can I, you know, would it be cool, you know, would it be okay for you if I was to, to like, upload like your POV from our, sessions or whatever. And he's like, yeah, go ahead. And then it's like, oh, he was like, oh, I didn't, I thought you meant like, maybe, like you're gonna like make like montages or something like that. And I'm like, no, I don't, I'm not that kind of an expert. And then, like I said, me and Alpha Galaxy, um, we had a little chat channel, and I think it's like, Discord or whatever. And I was like, okay, if it means that much, you know, I'll I'll get rid of the videos, no problem. But yeah, like I said, like I said, fucking, but back to Afflicted though, like I can't believe what I saw, but he literally put him, but like he literally put himself in that stereotypical DVD streamer fashion, where it's like, where people, are entitled, are entitled shitheads because, someone, played a way that they didn't like or something like that. And like instead of like, instead of like, like coming to me, like having like a nice little chat or whatever, you're like, nope, I'm just gonna just ban you, kick you from my community, just all for that reason. He might say it's gonna be something. He might say like he's gonna be for something else, but let's be real. It's all because of a fucking game. Which like I say, like I thought he was better than that.
Nothing there.
Like honest to God, no fucking joke. Like I thought Afflicted was better than that. Oh yeah, that's right. I got the fucking blue key. Robo Centipede.
Rest in pieces.
Man, like I said, I thought Afflicted was better than that. Like I thought, he was gonna be, I thought he was gonna be, I thought he was better than that. Like I was not expecting, him to stoop down to that fucking level of, being that entitled DVD streamer that, that went off because, just because, someone didn't play, his liking or whatever. But I guess I was wrong. I guess I was wrong. I didn't want to see him go down that route, but I didn't want to see him go down that route. I didn't think he would ever go down that route, but apparently he did. Target spotted. No one's gonna be probably say like, I don't give a fuck what Rumble thinks of me, blah 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 blah, and it's like, okay, like I said, I see how it is, like I said, you literally, get pissy at me over something that's, over something that happened in the game, and yet, I'm like public enemy number one. It's like I'm somehow public enemy number one all of a sudden just because something happened in the game. Nothing more, nothing less. So at this point, all I can say is just fuck Afflicted, like I said, it's just simply fuck Afflicted. I hope he rots in hell for all I care. If he wants to be, if he wants to be like that, not have like a you know, like a man-to-man type of conversation or whatever, you know, fuck them, you know. You know, I put up with I put up with this shit long enough. You know, I already put up with this shit for long enough. You know, I was, you know, okay to go along with the, you know, with the bits or whatever, but no.
Nothing there.
You know, like you know, I would have given all the praise in the world to him. You know, if anything. Like I would say, you know, I hope. Like I hope this dude, like I hope this dude gets partnered. You know, like I hope, you know, he can be able to, you know, I hope he gets partnered. You know, I hope that, he gets partnered and, you know, he can be able to, you know, move on to, you know, other things. You know, because like, you know, I know sometimes he's had like that little moment of like, you know, he feels like, you know, he's always stuck in DVD limbo because apparently, like, you know, he likes to think to himself, it's like, oh, that's the only thing people watch before now, you know, this, that, and the other. Or it's like, you know, it's like, oh, you know, you know, it's like, oh, I can only play DVD because, you know, that's what brings in the views. You know, like I would have given them, you know, all the praise in the world. It was like, you know, I hope nothing but the best for him and everything like that. But at this point now, it's like, you know, like I said, unless, you know, like I said, unless he decides to be a man and message me and be like, hey, let's actually, you know, talk instead of like, instead of like, like typing, but you know, the actual like words and whatnot, then you know, fuck him. I hope he never gets partnered. I hope that, you know, he fucking, you know, I hope like at this point, like I hope he never gets partnered. I hope he loses people after people, you know, for his shitty behavior. You know, to the point where it's like, you know what, he's gonna have to get a real fucking job. You know, that's how far I would take it at this point. You know, whether you want to say that, you know, I'm petty or whatever, you know, the term may be, like I don't care. Like I don't care anymore. Like you know, I hope he never gets I hope he never gets everything that he desires. You know, but yeah, like, you know, I hope he never gets partnered. I hope he loses viewer after viewer after viewer. You know, and everything. You know, maybe I'll sing a different tune. You know, who knows? Maybe I'll sing like a different tune or something. You know, if he actually, you know, decides to be a man. You know, and you know, and fucking message me and have like a nice little chit chat. You know, find out like, you know, what, you know, like why he did what he did. You know, but you know, for everyone else in the community, I wish him nothing but the best. You know, I wish him nothing but the best. You know, I still will welcome them with open arms. You know, if they, you know, want to like, you know, still be following the little me or not, you know, that's up to them. You know, I will not go off on them. I will not go off on that. Fucking spiders and shit. Well, I need to switch off the lever bullet because I ain't got a whole lot of bullets left.
Imagine the future, 'cause you're not in it.
Ew, that height. Alright, so the bomb.
The squeaky wheel gets greased.
So, but yeah, I apologize, you know, for. Yeah, I apologize, you know, but at the same time, it's like, you know, I had to get it off my chest, you know. You know, and thank you, Onyx, for that. So. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, you know, it's just like I say, it sucks. You know, like it's just overall it sucks, you know, because like, you know, like I was down to feel like and I'm probably gonna say this too, you know, and everything like that, but when it comes to playing DVD, it's like I've played the game both like solo and, you know, with like friends, you know, like doing like a solo, you know, like playing solo queue and, you know, doing the Swift stuff and all that. And you know, and I like I usually try to, like, you know, maybe play with, you know, with Afflicted and, you know, everyone else in the community, you know, at the Swift, you know. It's like, it's just been the thing, you know. It's like, you know, just have some fun, and, you know, it's kind of like, you know, whatever happens, happens. You know, like I said, you know, we have our good moments, we have our bad moments. Hold on. Can I? Yes. You know, wait a second. We have our good moments, we have our bad moments of, you know, stuff that happens in the game, you know. But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, hey, you know, we move on, you know, we, you know, do our little thing here and there, you know, just, yeah, you know, but.
Kaboom!
You know, And like I was, saying again and everything like that, it's like when it comes to that, it's like, I was always known to, hang out at Afflicted's, channel and everything like that, especially, whenever he would, especially, like, when he would, be going live, whether it be, like, a planned stream, or just, like, some sort of random ass, special stream that, like a special makeup stream that he wanted to do, what we're wanting to do. And the fact, like, like the fact that I'm not welcome there anymore for bullshit reasons, it's heartbreaking. It's like, I thought literally Afflicted was better. I thought, it was better. I literally thought he was better than this. You know, but now he's, whether he or anyone else wants to admit it or not, like he's. Like I said, like he's literally put himself in that position now, where it's like, he's that stereotypical, like, oh, I'm a big, like, oh, I'm this big DVD streamer, like, oh, I'm this big DVD streamer, I want you to play, so effectively and everything like that. So, if you don't play smart, or you don't play this way or that, then you're banned. You're banned from my community. Shunned from my stuff and all that. So. Like I said, so you hate seeing people, go down that route, whether they want to admit it or not. But if they want to live that life, then it's unfortunate. Well, I came down here for nothing.
Assembly required.
And so I'd say on to the, for the time being, like I do not support Afflicted anymore. I do not support him anymore. I do not wish him the best in anything. So he can kiss my ass and suck my dick and go fuck himself. Because he showed his true colors. He showed his true colors on that day. He literally showed his true colors, all because like God forbid, God forbid, you try to play a game, and you try to be, going for a save and all that stuff, and it's just, it's like, I was always gonna tell him, like, here and there, where it's like, dude, I'm not fucking perfect, okay? I can't. I'm sorry if I'm not going to be like someone who's going to, be going for flashlight saves on people, or always taking hits, or like or like looping the killer while other people do gens and stuff like that. And, I'm only human. We all, at the end of the day, like we all make mistakes. The best thing you can do as a person, is just, you know, just let this, just deal, deal with it. Like deal with it. All, just get used to it and everything like that. But no, he wants to. He wants to ban me, for something happening in a video game. Like, which again, like I said, he's probably gonna say he's probably gonna like spin the story of something completely different. But let's be honest, it's because because all because I saved his ass and try to save his ass. Whether like killer, whether like killer, with like let's say like he was right here, right? And no matter if like the killer was like right here. Whatever, like, no matter the distance, like, I literally tried saving your ass, so the best thing you can do is, like, either, like, say thank you, or just, run off, and, maybe, get healed, or something like that, or just fucking play the game, or just fucking play the game, but no. Apparently that's like a big no-no for him or something. I don't know. Like, oh, like I want you to play, like, like, oh, and if I was to guess how, if I was to guess, like, if I was to guess, if I like, I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm a psychic, I'm a psychic motherfucker, or or anything like that. But like, if I was to guess something that he was going to probably say, and there's some sort of a response, he'd probably would say something like, well, Rumble, like you've been here for for this many years, you played, you've been here for this many years, you played the game, you played the game, for this many years, you should know how things, you should know how things work, you should know, like, you're not, like, you should be like, you should know when to, to like, not go for a, not go for a save, when when someone's on the hook and the killer's like, like right there, or, whatever. So. Okay. Big boy up there. That is an item of some sort.
Haven't you ever heard of the healing power of laughter?
But yeah, like I said, I hated, I hated to have to say it, but, Afflicted himself has now put himself in that category of DVD, of entitled, DVD streamers, who lash out at people in the community, all because they didn't play, all because they didn't play the game, to the best of their, to their liking or whatever, and it's like, and if he somehow saw, or somehow like someone told him about, when I did my little night range stream and I ranted and all that, it's like I tried to be as nice as possible with it. Like I said, I didn't name drop, but I said my piece because because I had to get it out there. Because I was trying to say my piece in my own space, to where like it wasn't, and to where it wasn't like in his space, and possibly escalated the thing even more than that or whatever. But no. and I guess like the quote a random little like clash between Batman and Catwoman in the Justice is like, you know, the gloves are off and the claws are out, you know, type of thing or something. Yeah, but I will admit too, you know, it's like I will miss hanging out there, you know, I will miss the place, you know, I will kind of miss the place, you know, 'cause like I said, I usually hang out there as much as I can, you know, I'm just whether it be like, you know, just like whether it be like, you know, like playing the game or. You know, maybe like, you know, playing games like Marbles on stream or, you know, or Dead by Daylight or something like that, you know, I will kind of miss the place.
Target spotted.
You know, and I will miss everyone that was in the community, you know, being able to like maybe talk with them from time to time, you know, maybe, you know, play with them in some sort of way, you know. You know, I will miss that. You know, I will genuinely miss that. Okay.
Now! Over here! Contact!
And I'd say for right now though, like, I'm not sure what the future holds for Dead by Daylight streams on the channel because, you know, because I feel like, because I say, you know, whether Afflicted wants to, you know, care, whether, you know, he gives it two shits or not, but, you know, it's like he kind of killed it for me, you know, he kind of, you know, just a little bit. So, you know, I don't know, so yeah, like, I don't know what the future's gonna hold for DVD streams on the channel. You know, like, I might still play it from time to time. You know, maybe, you know, like, I'll do like some random ass solo queues, Survivor. Maybe I'll try and get back to Swing and Things on Killer. I don't know. And I'd say the thing about it too was that you know, so Dead by Daylight just recently had a new chapter come out, which was the chapter 2 thing of Stranger Things, and it had like a new killer, which is called the First, which is which is the Vecna from Stranger Things, and it had like 2 new survivors as well. And I was actually gonna be trying to maybe play around with that on stream, like maybe around like on Sunday or something at most. Bop, 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 bop. I kind of find it funny that it calls like soda drink is like liquid crack, and the one thing that comes to my mind is like right now I would love some liquid crack like that, because I would love to have a soda to drink right now.
Nothing there.
She wouldn't do that. Besides, everyone's asleep right now. Probably just do the usual thing where it's like probably like after stream or something like that. Probably just like cook me up some tea, because that's normally like the one thing that I usually drink around here. Unless we have like maybe like some Coke or something. It's whatever, man. Like, I have ideas.
It's a shame you can only die once. Imagine the future, because you're not in it. Fuckface!
I'm not 100% certain on that, but I think that's literally the first time I ever heard Shelly say that. In particular, just saying fuckface. I got the back some of that. Yeah, I don't know why, but like I never really see myself using the ultrasonic radar from this game.
How do you like your ribs? Oh, yeah. I've got a present for you. Putin machine.
Any other dogged contenders? No, I know that you were going. I know that you're joking, but I'm just gonna say this as a bit. Unless if you're one of these guys, and it's like, nah, I wouldn't want to fight you. But I don't know why. I have like a strange prediction that like as soon as I get the key card, Hester's gonna appear on that thing on that big screen over there. Like I just got that good feeling. Of cows, a building that's shaped like an H. Alright, well, let's see if I'm right. In 3. I mean, I guess in this case you're gonna be too far off, but let's see what happens in 3, 2, 1.
Uh-oh, Shelly. It would seem Mr. Rockford's hot on your trail. Whatever will you do? For now, enjoy the show.
Well, I was sort of right. But he didn't appear here, he appeared there, and there.
Yum, yum, yum.
Wait, what do you know? I got no more bolts for that. Sedge. Kind of sedge.
done when I say we're done. Haven't you ever heard of the healing power of laughter?
Move out! Over here! Ah!
I usually don't bring out the minigun unless it's like, you know, especially one of those like those big dudes.
Sorry about the mess.
Move out there now!
Damn, I think Haskell's water just broke.
Okay. So I think I'm gonna end it right there because I think I've had like a decent time of playing some of this game. You know, and also allow me to kind of it also kind of allow me to vent a bit more. You know, even if like I am no longer welcomed and and all that in the afflicted community. All I can say is all I'm gonna say is again unless the afflicted be's a man messages me we can have like a nice little chat. Fuck afflicted and everything he stands for, but as far as everyone else in the community, I wish him nothing but the best. So yeah, let's see. Give me just a sec. How far is it behind? Yeah, I might see if I can try and find someone to raid, but just want to make sure, like, my pop out Twitch chat, it's still behaving itself. Because sometimes, for whatever reason, it's like, oh, and if you don't do anything for so fucking long, then it's like everything's frozen, and it feels like it takes like a hot minute or so, to get everything working again or something. I don't know. Because right now, like I'm looking at the chat on PC site. Like the last thing I see is like H stands for hell. So we're gonna see it, but we're gonna see what happens. But yeah, I don't know for sure about like what's gonna happen for tomorrow's stream, which I guess is gonna be like today. But probably, I don't know, like, cause I'm kind of thinking about this a little bit, cause I have like ideas flowing through my head because I have Freedom 2 with the Bork DMake mod. I have the Doom 2 Classic Redux thing, with like the Maps of Chaos and stuff like that. I have. God damn, that is like so delayed. So gonna have like the idea of possibly playing around with you know with with more blood, with more cryptic passage or whatever. Um, so I'd say for right now, like the ideas that I have if I was to stream technically like later, for Saturday would be like either I play me some more Doom with the Doom 2 Classic Redux type mod, or I play or I play some more Blood Refresh Supply with the Cryptic Passage or the Cryptic Passage expansion or something. But we'll see. Uh, I'd say as far as maybe like Sunday goes, if I do stream on that day, um, then probably I might probably do maybe like some Batman or something like that. I might play some more like more Batman Return to Arkham City, and then probably on Thursday I might sort of what is that? Probably on Thursday during like my 2 day slow week of streaming, and I might probably like do a little thing with Dead by Daylight. Maybe try and see if I can do the adapt or the adept runs and everything. So, cause like I said, I'm probably gonna take I'm probably gonna take like a slight little break from DVD. Like I like as much as like as much as kind of like kind of killed the vibe for me and everything like that. Like I don't necessarily want to say like oh well, like, I'm gonna just uh kill off Dead by Daylight quickly cause like I will honestly admit like like I'm used to the whole fucking solo queue type thing and whatnot. So like whatever happens happens at this point. So and thank you Onyx for that. Ooh, someone got killed by Skull Merchant. Yowie yowie. But yes, please bear with me, guys. Because this is usually the time where it's like, oh, I'm trying to find someone to possibly raid, and I'm probably gonna be silent. I'm gonna be silent as a motherfucker. But I hope you guys have enjoyed the stream, though. Nonetheless, even with the whole situation of like me just like ranting and raving here and there. Yeah, I'm just checking checking out the stream, this person on real quick, see, because I have like a random hunch that I might have just gone live, and I always kind of like, I feel like the one thing I always kind of like maybe trying to do per se at most is, if I see someone who's hasn't been live for that long, I'll be like, oh hey, they have been live for that long, so I'll like maybe give them a raid or something. Oh my. This dude, this dude's got a fucking, dude's got a fucking, it's like a 3D model of like shirtless, a shirtless guy or whatever. Is it, what the fuck? You know what? I haven't done it in a hot minute, but I kind of want to see. I kind of want to peep out the Night Rain streams. I'm kind of in that peeping the Night Rain streams, seeing what people are doing. Does anyone do Divine Towers anymore? Oh yeah, I'm gonna say this right now to you, Onyx, but that's something I'm gonna have to bring up whenever we do our little thing of Night Rain's DLC. Because there is gonna be quite a lot to say about that. Holy shit, fucking 14 hours. Oh, please. Okay. Okay, so I don't know this person at all, but like I just saw the name and I was like, you know what? Let's give it a try. We're gonna run into this person known as Rad Dad Rumble. I don't know why like I fucking love the name kills me. Rad Dad Rumble. But yeah, they're playing some Night Rain and everything. I don't know what they're gonna be doing for sure, but I figured maybe we'll see if we can raid into them. And yeah, I apologize for the the slowness of trying to find someone to raid because I don't know what it is, but like sometimes it's like, oh, I want to try maybe like go raid random people and show support some sort of support or whatever, and it's like I don't know, and I'm thinking to myself, it's like I don't know like if they're gonna be if like say like they're ending in certain like a X amount of time if they've been streaming like for X amount of time, like I don't know if they're gonna be like ending soon or what, and everything, but yeah. Alright, so let's see, can we do this raid? I think we'll actually go through. Yes, we can. So, okay. We are going to raid. I'm gonna raid into Red Dead Rumble. So, thank you guys so much for watching and everything. I really do appreciate it. Until I see y'all in the next video or live stream, take care everybody, and I hope you all have a good week or weekend.